Hey guys, welcome back to Innsmouth case. So I was just kind of quickly progressing through so we could get to the part where we meet up with Tabitha. I think this is a new option. So we're going to try it and see if we can get the bus driver to react. Platu verta nectu, you proclaim with a stern face. A slow wandering eyebrow is the only emotion in the bus driver's face. Ha! Yeah, Bruce. Someone in the back yells. Not bad considering. You shuffle sideways. Okay. Sit down with someone. Sit down anyway. Talk to the stranger. So, like I said before, we're just gonna push through this, bulldoze, try to get to where we meet Tabitha, and just see that now that we have more information, if we can't get a different ending. Alright, there we go. Got our do music back. Evelyn. Alright, let's ask her wrong. What do you mean wrong? Why would your mother give me a wrong address? The girl rolls her eyes. I don't know. Can we go now? Our house is not far from here. Now we follow her. If a real address is somewhere close, it should be easy enough to find out whether she's lying or not. You give in and put the Polaroid back in your coat pocket. Okay, you lead the way. Evelyn is visibly relieved. She points at a little side street you hadn't noticed before. Little girl's leading you across town when you read the street name, Road. We'll just keep moving with it. I wouldn't even know another way to pronounce that. You realize that you're on your way to the northern part of the city. You had followed the address that Dahlia left you. You would have ended up in a completely different area. The end of town, to be exact. You wonder what would have waited for you there. Evelyn strides ahead purposely into the area in which she claims to live. Apart from the two of you, there's no one else on the streets, although it's only late afternoon, but you can sense that you're not alone. The curtains in the windows in the surrounding houses are constantly moving. The streets are getting narrower and narrower. Good thing you don't suffer from claustrophobia. Evelyn isn't speaking. Let's talk to her, see what she's got. Nothing wrong with clearing up a few things while you're walking. Hey, listen. Evelyn slows down and looks at you expectantly. Something appears to make her sad. Why does your mother think you've gone missing? The girl's face falls and she looks back down on the footpath. I don't know. That was too direct, it seems. She's clearly hiding something, but your question has scared her off. While she keeps leading you along the road, you wonder how you could coax something out of her. Here we are. By now you've left the narrow alleys of Old Town and you're standing in front of a wonky metal fence. Behind it, an old-fashioned mansion on a little hill. A surprisingly grand property considering that in the rest of the town, people appear to live like sardines. Evelyn and you stand there for a little while. This is where you live? Up there? The girl gives you a look that perhaps best summarized with, duh. Where else would I live? Yes. My family's been living there for... Here she pauses, squints intently and thinks. About 180 years. Family tradition, then. Oh, the Marsh Villa. Right. Shall we go in? Evelyn nods bravely. She fishes around in her pockets and gets out a small set of keys with 2 shiny golden keys. She takes the larger one of the 2 and puts it into the lock of the gate. A bit rusty, she says apologetically. Despite the fact that she must have opened the gate many times, Evelyn needs a few attempts to finally open it. After it finally makes a loud clinking sound, the girl pushes down the massive door handle and the gate swings open. The gravel makes a crunching sound under your shoes. You've made it halfway to the house when you start to consider a few things. In a few seconds you will see Dahlia Marsh again. Duplicitous Dahlia Marsh. Shiver runs down your spine. Evelyn's already walking up the stairs to the porch and is nearly at the door. Wait a second. Your sixth sense for danger and unpleasant conversation has been triggered. Wait a moment. You say just when Evelyn's about to put the key into the door. The hand with the set of keys drops and she turns around with a surprised expression on her face. Your mind is racing, even by your standards. What is it that you want? Nah, never mind, let's go inside. You can't really think of what you wanted to say, and there's the matter of collecting the bonus for solving the case. Nah, never mind, let's go inside. Evelyn nods. The girl puts the second key in the covenant into the lock and turns it around. The door opens with a creak, and the beams of the walls grow deeply and menacingly, as if you were standing in front of the mouth of a lion. Evelyn gropes for something in the darkness. You can hear a soft click and the corridors flooded with light. The entrance area of the house alone offers so much space that a smaller house could fit inside. A wide white lacquered staircase leads up to the higher floor. Your steps are commented on by groaning floorboards. Mother? The little girl cries loudly into the house. The clinking of glass, the ever-accelerating sound of high heels. A light goes on in the next room, and shortly afterwards the door is opened wide. The backlight gives Dahlia Marsh's face demonic features. When her gaze falls on her daughter, her eyes reflect anger. When she sees you, horror. I wonder if all mothers in Innsmouth react in this way when they're reunited with their lost daughters. You. Case solved, man. The expressions of outright horror is still on Dahlia's face, while the little girl looks up, worried at her mother. Dahlia holds a hand in front of her mouth, an antiquated gesture which reminds you of old films in which men had strange beards and the women wore corsets. She recovers herself quickly, and an affected smile spreads on her lip. How nice to see you. That definitely wasn't her voice. Before you can reply anything, she kneels down gracefully and gently ruffles her daughter's hair. There you are, Angel. Are you okay? Evelyn nods, but she's not actually said anything ever since you got into the house. Dahlia seems to be satisfied with the response, apparently completely recovered from her initial shock. She gets up and gives you a dazzling smile. Dinner's almost ready. Why don't you stay so we could discuss everything else? Her smile is tense. Yeah, where's my money? Put that money in my hand. I'm sorry, but I don't have much time. You just want to leave. You can do without any more answers from your shady client. She's visibly disappointed by this. Oh well. In that case, why don't you accompany me to the safe? She turns to her daughter. Darling, go to your room. We'll talk later. The girl nods and rushes up the stairs. Dahlia now walks over to the room she came from and leaves the door open for you to follow. I'm getting money from the safe. Why don't you join me? If I follow her, I die. If I stay in the hall, I don't get to use the gold hook, probably. I will stay in the hall. You'd rather stay where you are. That's okay. I'll just wait here. You call after her. She walks off, the tick-tock of her heels echoing on the wooden floorboards. You could swear that you can hear voices from the adjoining rooms. One of the voices is Dahlia's, and the other one sounds very similar. You can't make out what they're saying, though, and before too long the whispering stops and Dahlia comes back. She holds out an envelope and purses her lips. Thank you again. Let's just be nosy. I've been nosy this entire gameplay. You stole away the money in the inside pocket of your coat. Now that we've got all the formalities out of the way, I was wondering whether you'll be able to answer a few of my questions, Dahlia. Dahlia folds her arms and the smile she gives you doesn't reach her eyes. I'll do my best. You wanted to ask her, why'd you give me the incorrect address? So many questions have been going around in your head ever since you arrived, but now that you're face to face with your client, you don't even know where to start. Something simple, perhaps. Why'd you give me the incorrect address? Oh, I'd already forgotten about that. You notice that Dolly's hand kept fidgeting. She keeps rubbing her palms and massaging her fingers. It seems that she's not used to these kinds of confrontation. Actually, it's the address of good friends of mine where I spend most of my days, especially when my little one is at school. You could say I spend more time there than in my own house. She smiles apologetically. That's it? Okay, I thought that was the end of questioning. You wanted to ask her, why'd you say your daughter's name was Tabitha? Why did you tell me your daughter's name was Tabitha? You asked me to find your daughter but gave me a false name. You couldn't have made it more difficult for me if you tried. Oh no, you've got that all wrong. Tabitha is Evelyn's middle name, and you did have a photo of her. N'est-ce pas? Middle name? The girl did not say anything about that. She's now in a room and your gut tells you that Dahlia won't let her anywhere near you again. You want to ask her... there's so many questions you've been going around your head. Okay, the first paragraph's done. You can feel the envelope full of cash in your coat pocket. You've only been in and out for a few hours and you're already sick of it. Never mind, you say hesitantly. She smiles a little less fake this time. The prospect of being rid of you soon seems to brighten her day. With these last words, you turn away and open the door to the outside. As you make your way to the front gate, pebbles crunching under your feet, you turn around one last time. You just catch a glimpse of Dahlia closing the door. There was definitely a satisfied smile on her lips. You think, you don't like this at all. Nah, she's the villain. The smile is cold and dark, but you can't figure out why you would think that. What game is she playing? At least you can now put some distance between the two of you, and that's all that matters. You're on your way, but you're still pondering this. You wander the streets, dark clouds spread out from the sea, like claws that ominously reach for the town, reaching for you. The sun is set and the temperature is dropping fast. The air too gets cooler and rough winds whip through the alleys. You're lost. You have no idea how to get out of this godforsaken town. If it weren't bad enough, you also underestimated the September weather on the coast. And the real cold temperature is still yet to come. Scattering raindrops do not bode well. You aimlessly wander the streets, the narrow alleys, a labyrinth of simple wooden fisherman huts. So we're gonna get into it with the... Oh, yep, here it is. At least you're not completely on your own. Look at that. Even at this late hour, there are groups of people out patrolling. With pitchforks, with torches and pitchforks. And knives and nets. Will they drag us down underneath and we're gonna meet the speech giver again? Let's walk towards them, let's just see. As repulsive and dangerous as they might seem with their improvised weapons, you've never been someone who judges a book by its cover, especially not when you're cold and sleepy. Before you reveal yourself to the patrol, you think again whether you should prepare yourself in some way. You can't think of anything in particular. Well, let's cover up our face. Following your intuition, you grab a piece of cloth dangling from a barrel. Torn cloth stinks of brown fruit, which is a welcome change. There! Screams the front man of the group, an old fisherman with a white bushy beard. He waves his torch in your direction. His friends limp towards you. The rags and rain jackets and rags flap awkwardly against their body. Oh, how I missed that jarble of a sentence. Considering the limping horde of deformed lunatics, they manage to surround you quickly. The light of the torches dancing in the rain makes the already scary faces look even more bizarre. Nervously licking their bulging lips while they stick out their torches, knives and pitchforks to keep you in check, You wonder if people of Innsmouth suffer from radiation poisoning. It would explain so much.
Hey, you there.
The leader of the mob spits at you. Oh, damn it. There you were hoping to be able to sneak past the creepy group, but somehow you must have caught their... Well, yeah, we walked up to him.
What are you doing here all alone?
If I say I want to leave town, that's it. Oh, I'm just going for a walk, you say innocently, kicking a rotten fish in front of you. He narrows his eyes.
You're going for a walk on a night like this?
Outrageous! A few people shout from behind. A pitchfork is poking your buttocks. Meanwhile, the old fisherman steps up to you, his hand massaging the bulges of skin dangling from his face.
Who are you?
He asks suspiciously, as if by itself. Your hand touches the piece of cloth that covers your face. It's me. I can only give my real name? Oh, I picked poorly. You give your real name. The men look briefly confused and exchange skeptical looks, but it doesn't take long before you realize that you must have made a mistake unlike any other. Well then, welcome to Innsmouth, heathen, the old man purrs. You stare into some strangely deformed, elongated pupils.
We're gonna have fun tonight.
He looks at someone, next to you. Before you consider what the hell is happening, something hits you against the back of the head. You lose consciousness. Oh, they took us to the town square. Freezing cold, voices, whispering, arguing, raindrops that roll off your forehead, a pungent smell of fish that you have almost gotten used to. Damn it. Your cheeks pressed against something cool. After the first moment of disorientation, you realize that you're lying somewhere out on the street. You open your eyes. This situation is not new to you. On several drunken nights in Boston, you've ended up near a trash can on a dodgy side street. This is perfectly normal. You groan as you raise your head and immediately regret moving. All you can feel at the back of your head is pain. You have no doubt you were knocked out. You try to touch the back of your head but fail. You seem to be tied up. Okay, this is definitely not normal. At least now you recognize where you are. It's the Innsmouth Town Square, Town Hall Square. At least 50 villagers have gathered around you. They've huddled together in small groups and are in deep conversation. Relaxed, they rest on their pitchforks and have thrown their fishing nets loose over their shoulders. Now and then they grin at you. Yeah, let's start complaining. If all else fails, you decide to wallow in self-pity. After all, you have no clue how you got yourself into this situation. You wonder if those gangsters have also stolen your wallet and emptied your bank account. Do they have your apartment key? Have they already been to your crappy apartment in Boston? And what about your goldfish Al? I read that as AI like an idiot. You really should have fed him again before you left. Damn it. You're gonna lose everything. Everything. But they will never take away your online private detective license. A worn-down boot suddenly appears in your field of vision.
Awake already?
A voice croaks from above. With great effort, you manage to look up and see who dares interrupt your self-pity. It's the leader of the group, Abraham, who looks down on you triumphantly. From where you are, you can see all the small tumors that are sprouting from his chin. Got really lucky that it was Abraham.
Ugh,
you say involuntarily. If you offended him, he doesn't show. He gives you a dirty grin.
I hope you enjoyed your stay in our little town today, landlubber.
Eh. It's pretty difficult to shrug your shoulders while lying on the floor in shackles. That's why all you reply is, meh. The old man shakes his head scornfully.
You goddamn city dwellers and your indifference. Damn.
The man whistles as if impressed.
You are a tough guy, I'll give you that. I wonder how long this will last when you're on fire.
Fire? Before you can ask for more detailed explanation, you're grabbed by the arms. Some fishermen have silently approached without you noticing. They jerk you up into the air and carry over to the square. Just after just a few yards, they slow down. The ground they're walking on seems less solid. You're standing by a stake. Two men in rags and gross bulges on their cheeks undo your handcuffs and then tie your arms around the central pole. The remaining villagers have interrupted their chatter and are coming closer. Yeah, try to loosen the shackles. You tug on the ropes, twist and turn your wrist as far as you can, no luck. The handcuffs aren't particularly well attached. You can feel their loose fit. It's just like they're strong enough to hold someone like you.
Finally about time.
Someone shouts annoyed and drowns out all the other conversations taking place in the town square. Looks like someone finally managed to light a torch. Solemnly, the men march towards you, and in awe, the other villagers make way for them. Not everyone in Innsmouth can light a fire. Two of the men remain with the other spectators, and the torchbearer continues alone until he stands before you and the stake. He turns his back on you and begins to speak to the eclectic audience.
Brothers and sisters.
Yes, Abraham? Several people respond, which says a lot about Innsmouth Jeanpool.
Quiet!
He growls immediately.
I mean everyone present.
Satisfied, he solemnly spreads his arms. You can now see that the hand with which he holds the torch is a single flap of skin wrapped around the log.
The hour approaches, and before you stands our tribute to Dagon. We share the sacrifice and the blessing, for we are the faithful children of the...
He falls silent. A dozen tourists walk out of the next alley along. The villagers look surprised and exchange baffled looks. Some look to Abraham for help. Embarrassed, Abraham drops the torch. Yeah. Help! Hey, help me. Please rescue me. You blurt out. You earn some deeply hurt looks from the villagers, but the feelings are not as high up on your priority list as, say, surviving this night. The tourist looks over to you with interest. The first few break away from the group and come closer. The young blonde man takes selfies with you and himself at the stake. Hey, you scream at him. Let's just go with inform the FBI. I don't think any of them are going to work, but inform the FBI. That's right, the FBI is the right institution to take part in the incestuous fish-infested town. The man frowns. He looks at you and seems confused. Like a magnet, he's drawn back to the screen of his mobile phone. What? He asks, lost in thought as he types something on the device. This is not going well. The tourist stands in amazement before the stake. Is this one of these medieval games, like they do in Salem? They'd like to do that over in Europe too, with the knights and stuff like that. Abraham rolls his eyes.
Sure,
he replies, but that turns out to be the wrong move. The tourist waves over his companions. The group of tourists assemble in front of the stake, which means that the locals can no longer see you. Some of the rough-looking men in fish coats walk up to Abraham and speak to him. They're obviously getting nervous. Meanwhile, a few of the tourists break away. They take pictures of you at the stake. Let's talk to tourists if we're gonna get out. Psst, you there. You hiss at the people taking photos. A man with a mustache looks up at you irritably. What do you want? You gotta get me out of here, you say feebly. Unbelievable that you have to explicitly ask for it. What's your problem? The man asks. Forget about it. Scream at him. This is not for show. This is for real. You plead with increasing desperation. This man shakes his head in disapproval. I don't like it that you're breaking character. Look, he gestures towards the ragged villagers. All these people down there are freezing their bottoms off while you stand up here snug and in the limelight. Why are you trying to ruin it for everyone? God help you. Is he perhaps right? No, damn it. You scream hysterically. This isn't one of your stupid tourist programs. This is my life we're talking about. Yeah, real stupid, someone from the group of tourists mutters. Who said that? You hiss, thrusting your chin forward aggressively. The audience consists of tourists and increasingly intimidated villagers take a few steps back. All these people are staring on your nerves. Now untie me or there will be blood. You scream as if in a frenzy. All this is getting too much for the locals, and their numbers visibly dwindle. Unsettled by the presence of the many tourists and your rage, they try to inconspicuously disperse into the dingy side streets that lead off to the town square. It is Abraham of all people who unties you. Murmuring apologies, he too disappears into the small crowd and then down a dark alley. Are you happy now? One of the tourists asks, piqued. Yes. You scream ecstatically and spray strands of saliva everywhere. Impossible, the man says. This sums up your thoughts pretty succinctly. Disappointed that they were deprived of a free performance, the tourists shuffle on, and now you can finally get out of there. You made it. At last you leave the streets of Innsmouth. They had closed in on you so much that the whole place felt like it was suffocating you. A vast void of darkness lies ahead of you. The lousy little coastal town lies behind you. You've swapped it for a bumpy dirt road. You've swapped it for a bumpy dirt road and a parking lot whose motorized inhabitants glisten peacefully in the moonlight. At least it's not raining anymore, but it's still freezing. You take a deep breath. The pressure in your chest that had built up during the day now finally dissipates. Sweet relaxation. You will revel in it as soon as you made it back to Boston safely, and it firmly planted you behind on your leather couch. But how are you going to get home now? Let's search the parking lot first, because we walked. The parking lot is surrounded by a fence made by some simple wood beams. You almost gracefully jump over the fence and find yourself surrounded by many cars of different makes and different generations. In addition to the recent models, you can see everyday cars from your office window. In addition to recent models which you can see every day from your office window, there are some real classics on display. The kind that still have a real horn attached to their body. Aren't the owners worried that their antique cars might get stolen? In the middle of this overflowing parking lot in the dead of night, you consider your options. Break into a car. You can break into a car, preferably one of the newer models, one that screams, "Take me, my battery still has some juice left in it." Step 1, break in. You need to hurry up. There's no time for any extravagant stunts. You would love to smash the car window with your elbow just like in the movies. Your weapon of choice, a stone that fits snugly into your fist and will soon make an intimate acquaintance with the car window. You aim and the stone meets no resistance. The window is cranked down. Fine. If you're responsible, some psycho might come along and steal your car. Without much delay, you pry open the plastic dashboard. You're half worried that the many scenes from the TV in which someone short-circuits a car and are all just made up. But today must be a lucky day. It actually works. The car engine is howling. You put the car into reverse and maneuver it out of the narrow parking space. The headlights illuminate the many parked cars which have been assembled here over the decades. Shiver go down your spine. The car dashes out of the parking lot and chases down the dirt road. Something tells you that there won't be any oncoming traffic tonight as you steer the car from the dirt road onto the next country road. You're overcome by a sudden sense of relief. The engine roars deep into this, and you speed off into the dark. So I think we just re-got the... Yeah, we just re-got the first ending. You jerk awake, only pale moonlight seeps through the blinds of your apartment. It must be very late in the night. You're soaked in sweat as per usual. You sit up on the edge of the bed and try to calm down. You're safe, you're at home. You manage to put an end to their schemes, the kidnapping and all the lies. You've escaped, but you're still under the spell of Innsmouth. Alright, yeah. I think Innsmouth's run its course. Maybe I'll come back to it in the future. But yeah, thanks so much for following through with the series. Hope you guys had at least a little fun with it. I'll see you in the next video, and have a good day.